Hi friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I wanted to do a cooking and reading vlog, so this is it. I'm tentatively calling this Cooking and Chapters, and I really had fun making this. It was a labor of love for sure. But all of the recipes can be found in The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic by Breanne Randall. This is also the book that I'm reading. I'll also share my thoughts with you guys at the end of the vlog on the book. I did have some recipe fails. You'll see those in the video. I didn't cut them out. But I think because this is a fiction book and not a cookbook, there was some stuff missing from it. I will not be sharing the recipes just because you know where to find them, but I will tell you what I did a little bit differently, if I did something differently, or recommend advice. Because I did try to follow the instructions, but it didn't always work out for me. This book is Practical Magic meets Gilmore Girls, and that was all I needed to know when I bought it. I already went through and tabbed all my recipes and decided what I was going to make before I even started reading this book. A lot of the recipes that I made prior to reading, and it was actually really interesting to have already eaten this food and then see where it falls into the book. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, I'll tell you which recipes I think that you guys should try and how much my husband and I enjoy. So, without further ado, let's hop into the vlog. For our first recipe, carrot cake cookies with cream cheese frosting. Let's go make it.
Is the carrot cake cookies with cream cheese frosting. Shredding the carrots made a huge mess of my kitchen. But other than that, it came together pretty easily. I loved these because I felt like I was healthy eating them because they had carrots and raisins, and they were so delicious. 10 out of 10.
I thought I would do a half-point check-in of The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic. I am enjoying this book so far. I will say I don't really like the grandma. This is supposed to be a cozy and whimsical book, and I hate that the grandmother calls everybody pissant. And it comes up quite often. I think that that's supposed to be her, like, take no crap attitude, but I don't like it at all. Sadie is part of the Revelar family, so she is cursed. Everybody in this family gets a curse, and her curse is that she will experience her heartbreaks. Her heartbreaks have already been kind of happening in the book. Like, it talks about people leaving, and it makes her kind of hard to read and relate to because she's like afraid to love because of heartbreaks and stuff like that. That's on the back of the book, so I'm not spoiling anything, just so you know. There is something so cute and cozy about the cafe. I really enjoy when she's talking about making all of her food, and I love that there's recipes in here. There's actually way more food that she talks about, but I was like, oh, I kind of want the recipe for that, but it's not in the book. Like, she talks about these like basil lime sugar cookies, and they sound delightful, and I really want to try some of the other things that are mentioned in the book, but I get like 18 recipes in this book. I get it. She runs a whole cafe. You can't have every recipe in the cafe, but man, those like basil lime cookies sound freaking bomb. Speaking of recipes, so we have already made the carrot cake cookies, and they were so good. Like, so good. Next up, we have a few more recipes that I'm going to try, so let's hop over to the kitchen to try those. But we're going to make rum-soaked peach muffins, a salted cream cold brew, and a cherry cheese pie. I will give my ratings on the recipes as you saw before, and my husband's rating of the recipes, because I think that's just kind of fun. And we have different tastes. I think it'd be fun to just kind of compare and contrast what we like. Let's go make some more recipes. Come with me to my kitchen.
This is the rum-soaked peach muffins with streusel topping. You can see me putting the rum and peaches in the pan to reduce. The recipe is very vague, but I highly recommend reducing all of the liquid out because I learned the hard way and it came more like a cobbler versus a muffin. Still delicious though. This is the salted cream cold foam cold brew with Earl Grey. I am not a huge Earl Grey fan, and this was pretty strong in Earl Grey flavor. This is the cherry cheese pie. The recipe in the book did not include a graham cracker crust recipe, so I just went on Google and found this. This is just a sleeve of graham crackers, a little bit of sugar, and some butter. And then I pressed it into my pan. I was a little torn in between using a deeper pie pan versus the shallow pie pan. I went with the shallow one. I feel like either one is safe to go with. Go ahead and bake the crust. And then once the crust is baked, you let it completely cool and you'll add your toppings. This recipe did take me a little bit longer, but I think it was worth it. You can see yourself there. The recipe says to chill this for at least 3 hours or overnight. I definitely think I should have done overnight because even though it looks set, when I went to cut into it, it did not hold its form. So I think overnight would have been a little bit better because I think I chilled mine for about 5 hours. But it came out so beautiful and I loved this recipe. I definitely see myself making this again in the future. This is the orange honey vanilla scones. Right now I am making the orange honey. You have to make this in order to make the scones, and the recipe for the orange honey is after the scones in the book. Just FYI, if anybody wants to read this book and try these recipes. You let this sit for about 5 days. I set mine for about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks prior to making my scones. And I think that it made my honey just a little bit too runny. The recipe says to break this up with 2 forks. I just get in there with my hands and it's so much easier. Just break it up piece-sized pieces. I'm adding the heavy cream and the honey. And I think because the honey was a little more runny than normal honey texture, it just made my dough too sticky. And you'll see here, I am having a hard time kneading it and then even rolling it out. So I had to come up with a backup plan, and I just ended up scooping it off of the mat and putting it directly onto the tray. I've made these scones 3 times now, and I just use the scoop directly from the bowl because it always comes out a little bit too sticky. I'm not really sure what I've been doing wrong, but I think that this has been working out just fine for me because the scones are delicious and they have that nice fluffy scone texture.
I finished reading The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic by Breanne Randall. This book is about the Revlar family, particularly Sadie. She's a 30-something-year-old woman who helps run a bakery with her grandmother, and she has magic. They don't identify as witches, they just say that they have magic. She starts getting these bad omens and knows trouble is brewing, and somebody is coming back to town. Well, it turns out a lot of somebodies are coming back to town. What I liked about this book is that it had recipes. I really liked the family aspect of the book. It did feel like they were, like all the aunts and uncles were a little bit larger than life kind of characters, but I enjoyed it. I really liked the community aspect in this novel. Like the whole town is a little magical. She at some point goes to all of the families and asks them for a little bit of magic. So there's a little bit of magic throughout the town, which is kind of cool. I've never read a book like that before. Something else I liked about this is the sibling aspect. As somebody with a younger brother, I definitely don't always get along with my brother. Sadie is a twin, but her and her brother have a very similar relationship to me and my brother. Like, we haven't always gotten along, but we'll do anything for each other kind of situation, and I really like that. I think it was a very good picture. Things I didn't like about this book. I did not like the grandma. I hate to say it. She's the matriarch of the family. She's kept this family together for decades. She's a large portion of this book, and I just didn't like her. She calls everybody a shit ass or a piss ant, and I did not enjoy that. It kept pulling me out of the story. I was in it for the fantastical elements and the romance, but it was a very, very, very slow burn. And the romance didn't really happen until the very end, which I kind of saw a plot twist coming with the romance. So there's also that. I don't find Sadie to be a very relatable character. I mean, her relationship with her brother, yes, but not Sadie herself. She is very much into her magic and doesn't want to give that up, and therefore she just locks herself away from the rest of the world, and I can't get behind that. The only person that she really has a relationship with in the book is her grandmother, because they're very isolated, and eventually family does start coming back and Sadie does grow as a character and she starts opening up, but she still doesn't want to give up her magic, so that's still frustrating. I feel like the character Raquel, Sadie's best friend in this book, was a little on the nose with what she gave as friendly advice, because she was just like spoke the elephant in the room basically. Overall, I would give this a 4 stars. Thank you for joining me in my kitchen and hanging out and reading this book with me while we did some puzzles and did bookish things together. And I'm tentatively calling this series Chapters in Cooking. If you have another book that has recipes in it or talks a lot about food that you're interested in me making, I would love your suggestion. Something that I would really want to try is like Harry Potter recipes. I don't know who all would be interested in that, but I'm going to try. So thank you so much for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe if you feel so inclined. And I hope that you have a good day. I will see you next Wednesday. Having a lap dog, man. It's hard work. You hungry? Oh, yeah. Breakfast? Oh, okay. Okay, I thought he was gonna sit there. Good boy, Jasper. You don't want to be on YouTube? And just keep saying, What else? Hold on. Bark pause. Murphy's about to freak out. Oh, no. Good boy, buddy.